Chris here, and today I am taking a look at the Sesh TWS earbuds from Skullcandy. So when I was in Berlin, they did gift these to me, so a disclaimer that yes, I got them for free, but in no means are they buying my opinion here. Like all of my videos, all the opinions expressed are 100% my own. This video doesn't have to be passed by Skullcandy either. They simply just gave them to me and said, hey, check them out, post a review on them if you want. And well, this is the video. After using them now for 2 weeks, I thought I'd share my thoughts on whether the Sesh here from Skullcandy are any good. So here is our packaging, and I do like the fact that you can open it. So if I had the product in there right now, you'd be able to see it through the clear plastic, which is great before you go and hand over your $50 US or 59 euros. You can at least get an actual look at it. With some other manufacturers and brands and packaging, you can't actually see that at all. So it's a quick outline here how to connect. It's pretty straightforward. And then the controls. Now it does vary from the TWS earbuds I have been reviewing. These ones are like some of the others. So if you double tap, depending on which side, that's volume up or down. And if you tap and hold, again, it depends on which side, left or right. That will be the next track or the previous track. Triple tap will bring up Siri or Google Assistant, of course. And then just one single tap to start playing or to pause playing. So this is what we get in the box. User guide, you have something else if you have trouble that you can get online support for them. And then of course we do have some different ear tips here. They've got 2 large ones and then 2 smaller sized ones and a small micro USB cable. So let's have a look at the case and the earbuds themselves in a little bit of detail here. So the plastics that they have used is matte, and you can see the Skullcandy logo there on the top. Satisfying click down, there's a magnet within it that holds the lid in place, and I haven't had it open up on me or anything like that in my bag. No scratches so far. I can't say the same for some of the other cases that I've reviewed that are using glossy plastic, so good move with Skullcandy going with the matte plastic here. So they fit in there with magnets just like all the others. You can see little pogo port connectors. They're the 2 charging pins, and there's the connector on the other side right there. So as soon as you place it in the case, it will be held in there with a magnet, and you can see it's red charging, and that goes out once it's fully charged. The case itself does have these 4 LEDs. That's letting you know the battery life. You can see I'm somewhere now. It's starting to dim this one a little bit, so I'm coming up to about 75% battery life. So this is my biggest complaint of these earbuds is the battery life. So the case only has an additional 7 hours. The earbuds themselves, 3 hours, in my testing, about 3 hours and 10-15 minutes, so it's slightly over the claim, but it does fall short in terms of battery life compared to the competitors. There's some offering with just the earbuds themselves, continual play time of about 10 hours that I have tested. Now, when you take a look at the plastics used and the build, very good. There's no sharp edges. This is all matte. They've used rubber here for the buttons. So the buttons on each of these earbuds here is a click-in style, which I prefer, actual hardware buttons, not the capacitive touch ones. So very good in terms of build and the materials they have used here. The ear tips, these are the ones, the default ones. You've got some extras in the box, but I found that these ones gave me a good seal and fit. The ones that they include straight away. So I didn't have to swap around and test other ones out, which I sometimes have to do with the other earbuds I've reviewed. Right, that brings me on, of course, to the most important thing. Just how do they sound, the Sesh here from Skullcandy? So it was obvious to me as soon as you start using these out of the box with a completely flat equalizer, like I test all of my audio equipment, just to gauge it compared to everything else, they are definitely tuned towards bass. And it does offer, they do offer very good bass, very good loud bass as well. You can crank the volume right up to 100%. I can push 100% on my phone and then on the earbuds themselves, and it's not distorting. I think they have limited the volume just a little bit because of this, because they don't want it to break up and start distorting. So if you're after maximum, absolute, super loud, almost eardrum damaging sound, then you might be a little disappointed here. Now, because they've focused so much on the lows, I think the highs have suffered a little. Now, using Power Amp here, which is my favorite, not sponsored by the way, favorite audio playback app here for Android, I find that I do need to just tweak up the highs a little bit to get better results out of this. So overall, if you're really into your mids and your highs, you might be a little bit put off by these, but if you're after, I think, what most people like is a bit of bass and decent mids, then I think they are definitely tuned for just the general public here, and most people will be very pleased with the sound that you're getting out of the Sesh. Okay, so what about the lag, the latency, the delay that we get when you see content like video on screen? So YouTube, this is Netflix right now, watching The Dark Crystal. So if you watch very carefully people's mouths, it's a little bit harder here with the puppets, but if you're watching a normal movie, someone speaking, or on YouTube, one of my videos, you will notice that there are a few milliseconds delay. Now this is actually one of the better delays here, because on a lot of these TWS earbuds, I've seen huge delays, and it's like watching a Bruce Lee movie. You've got the person talking, and then it's about a second behind the audio, which is really annoying. But with the Sesh here, it's not as bad, but if you're very fussy about that, and if you focus on people's mouths and what you're hearing, you will see and you can distinguish that millisecond delay that we are getting. Now on to the fit of these. So it's very comfortable wearing the Sesh. I've had them in for hours on end, well, the maximum, the 3 hours and 20 minutes before the battery runs out, and they are very comfortable, no problems whatsoever. They don't feel like they're going to fall out. I have a very good seal with them. I like the touch controls, so to press and skip or start again, very easy, and it works 100% of the time because it's actual click-in hardware buttons, as mentioned before, and not the ones that have just 100% capacitive touch. No, so that is working great for me, and that's good. Now the range of these, I did an impromptu test that I didn't mean to do, and that was when I was flying from Berlin, where I got these, back to Spain. I left my phone in the era in the seat pocket in front, and I went all the way down to the back of the plane to the toilets there, and I went, oh, my phone, I left my phone. Yet I had these in, and I could still hear perfectly fine, and there was no breakup whatsoever, which was great. I thought that was a very good range test, considering that there was a lot of other Bluetooth devices on from other people listening to music, and there was also wireless on that flight too, so there's a lot of interference, possible interference. Yet, I have had these disconnect now 2 times on me, and when you compare that to the other TWS tech I've been reviewing, I haven't had any other disconnects with some of the other stuff I've been looking at, so I'm not too sure why. But for the last week I've been using this, they haven't disconnected. So I'm not sure. It was just a random occurrence. There's another thing too with these that could just be my particular units right here, but I have to report on it. I'm hearing a very, very faint high-pitched noise. So when I put them in, or you're using them, and you hit pause, you'll hear this high-pitched faint noise. And when I skip to the next track, just between the tracks is when you hear the high-pitched noise. It's when they're idle and there's basically almost no signal being transmitted to them. They're not under a continual stream of Bluetooth traffic, you could say. The packets coming through. You hear that noise, which does bug me, but at least I do not hear it when they are being played. Now the sound quality of these, I think for the 50 US, they are good. They're very good. Definitely 100% tuned towards bass. It's so clear when you first get these and start using them and you use a flat equalizer, you hear straight away like, whoa, yeah, these are going for bass. And you can crank that volume right up and the bass doesn't distort. This is good. And you can just push it and it sounds very, very good. Now I found that the mids, they're great. Highs lacking a little bit. The highs, yeah, I just tweaked it up a little bit with power amp using my Huawei P30 Pro. And when I did that and just tweaked it to my own, because this is my own personal preference here, then to me these sound very, very good for the money. So if you're in for, I think, not spending too much with TWS earbuds, you want and love and favor bass, definitely these are ones to go for. But the call quality is another thing. It's not amazing. It's like a lot of the other ones I looked at. There's no active noise cancellation tech in these. Okay, so it's not listening to any ambient noise. So call quality will be the same really as any others. It's going to be average. It's nothing amazing there at all. And the battery life is my biggest area of concern. Well, it's my biggest con, because you're getting 3 hours, just over 3 hours with these. Yet the case, it only charges an additional 7. To me, that's falling short. Really, this case for the size, I'm sure they could have put a larger battery in here. I don't know what their reasoning is. It's obviously cost reduction, isn't it? Trying to get the price down. And yeah, I just think it needs to be a lot higher than this. Because if you take a look at the competition out there, they've got cases that offer an additional 30 hours, some of them. And some of them offer continual 10-hour playback. And I know there's people in the comments, they always say, well, who's going to be listening to earbuds for 10 hours or earbuds for more than 3 hours? Me, I'm probably one of those rare cases. that I jump on flights that are going to New Zealand, for example, where I'm from, and I can be on a flight for 16 hours straight, the same flight, Dubai to Auckland, and that's where these just wouldn't cut it. So I wouldn't bring these along with me because of the battery life there. So thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you did like it of the Skullcandy Sesh. I will have more audio reviews up and coming in the channel, so please do subscribe for more. Bye for now.